Hi guys, it's Kelly here, and today I'm going to be watercoloring this A Day for Daisies image. It's kind of hard to see because I printed it out so light, but I'm going to be using some Zig clean color markers. I have 36 sets, and I know last time I forgot to zoom in, so this time we're going to go ahead and do that. And this post is going to be for my casing genius for Darnell, whom I love. He's in, if you can see it there, a number 4 round brush. And so I'm going to start the coloring and then we'll start the chatting because this video is still like 18 minutes long. So I just put my marker directly to paper and then add my water for blending. You don't want to work in any areas that are right next to each other because they will blend into each other, like the water will run. So I'm just using a couple of different pinks here. I really love that magenta color. So then I just, add my water, and for this, I guess I know we're watercoloring a digital image, which sounds like totally bizarre, but because you print it out, or because I printed it out in such that light gray color, it's totally okay. Like you won't be able to see the lines at the end, and they'll actually look like, you watercolored it instead of faked it. And I'm certainly not a watercolor artist, so I have to fake it every single time. You gotta fake it. Can't just do it for real. Can't sit down and paint a flower. Though Dawn says anything can be turned into a flower, and I have to believe her, but I believe that Dawn can turn everything into a flower. So I actually wanted to add a bit of orange in here, and if you take the marker directly to where it's wet, you don't get as deep of a pigment. But I make this mistake, so I pick up the orange off the acrylic block, scribbled it on there, and I'm trying to like dot it in, but the water that I have on the petal, there's too much water already, and my brush isn't wet enough. So I'm actually, instead of putting a lot of color down, I'm picking a lot of water up. So don't make that mistake. If you get a lot of water on your petal, wait for it to dry a little bit before you try to add in your other colors. It'll just look better, I promise. So then I'm just moving on to other areas. Now, when I sat down with Dawn, we talked about hard and soft edges. And that's one of the things in watercoloring that makes it different and beautiful because it's so much variation. So for these two petals, I'm actually going to take them a little outside the lines to get that more watercolored look, where with the two pink petals, I kept them pretty tight and confined. So this time, a little bit of orange and a little bit of pink. So I'm actually like putting down all the colors I want in there because, that's smart to put down all the colors you want in there. I'm not very good at layering colors. It's just something I struggle with. Dawn tells me all the time that I have to learn how to do that. So, anyway, this one I want my petals to be lighter on the outer edge. So I start with clean water on the outside of the petal, and then that way when I go in and touch my color, it will start to like bloom out. These Zig clean colors are very, very vibrant, and they hold a lot of that pigment on your brush. So here I'm going outside with clean water to get it to kind of like bloom out past the line. And again, because that ink from my computer is so very light, here I decided I didn't like the edge, so I'm just blotting some of it off and then going back in with more clean water just to get it to fade to white. And you'll see, like, you can barely see that edge. Right now it looks kind of strange, but eventually it'll dry. And since I have orange on my brush, I'm going back to that pink one, trying to put in a little more orange. Since you got it, you might as well use it. And then it's kind of difficult when you first are putting down the clean color to get to all your edges. With this large petal, I'm doing the same thing. I'm putting clean water outside. In a minute, I'll dope it out that you can't see me, and I'll speed it up. So just be patient. There it is. So yeah, I just put down clean water on the outside, and then went in and touched my color so that it would bloom into that clean water once I touched it. So I'm just blending them out a little bit, and then, touching it to that clean water so it'll go out past and get me that soft watercolor edge that I'm looking for. So I'm not going to show you all of the coloring. This video was like over an hour and 15 minutes. I'm also not going to do all of it in real time, but I just wanted to show you the rough idea of what I'm doing to each petal, and then we're going to pick it up and go from there. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, and you know, we'll chat the whole time, because apparently, I can't believe how many people have watched my videos. I'm sure it's not millions or anything, but it is hundreds, and that really shocked me, because I didn't really see that happening. But there's a few boo-boos that I make in here, so during those times I will slow it back down so I can show you what I did and how I fixed it. This, just the same thing. See how that blooms out into the clean, clear water? I just love that look. And you want to, you want a good variation. You don't want them all to be, well, maybe you do. Maybe you're into really loose watercoloring. If you're into really loose watercoloring, then, yeah, do whatever makes you happy, whatever you think is pretty. Here, this is the reason we're back in real time, is because I'm making a mistake. You can see where I'm putting down that pink marker is touching barely, oh my god, barely touching that petal that I just did. But because they are, oh, here I've decided I'm going to go back and make this side loose, but I don't realize that that's actually another petal. Yeah, I'll figure that out later. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll dope it out eventually. But these two are touching. And the reason that you have to do each individual petal that doesn't touch another one is so that you get a good edge. Otherwise it's just all messy. And you're going to see here, instead of having dark color in this corner, as soon as I accidentally touch it to this petal, they run together right there. There's no differentiation between each petal. And you can see it in my final card. You can see how where they ran together, they were just there was no difference. So the other thing with Zig Clean colors that you can do is you can go back and add them in while the paper is damp. I wouldn't recommend doing it while the petal is super wet, but because I've let them sit for a few minutes, it's fine to just go back in. And then I'm going to do the other one here, because it's just so, yeah, it's just so bleached out. I didn't like it. So, yeah, so while we're here, I'm doing this for Darnell, and I just love her. I think that she is absolutely hysterical, and she does this fabulous thing on her blog where she posts at the end of her blog, anybody new who was following her. Like, isn't that fantastic that she takes the time out of her day to acknowledge people who take the time out of their day to spend it with her? So she just cracks me up, and I don't want to out her or anything, but I have a feeling that she is very similar to me. That she is just real life, this is how it is. And maybe I think she says a cuss word or two. I'm just, Darnell, if you don't, I don't mean to give you a bad reputation. So we're just going to, go through here and keep adding the water and blending and moving on to different areas. I'm also going to, what are we doing here? We're just blending out. So, I have noticed that my videos have gotten, several views, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you. It's not at all what I expected. So I'm going to try to do a healthy mix of videos. And, just so, because some people want the rambling. Oh my gosh, I don't know why you want to listen to me talk about nothing, but apparently people think I'm funny. So I'm going to try to do a healthy mix so everybody can see what everybody wants to see. And then if you don't want to see it, don't watch it. It's fine. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm a big girl. So, yeah, I'm a little thrown off my game here because I'm having to do this recording twice. I don't know how I feel about not being able to just ramble my way through the whole video, because I feel like, I don't know, it's more natural for me. Here's the part where I figure out the dead is actually another petal. Yeah. So, took me a minute. And then I'm just trying to blend out that line, which if you work with it, they're pretty forgiving. Watercolors are pretty forgiving. Here's where you're going to find out how forgiving they are. This part is actually the base of the flower. For some reason, I thought it was a red petal, and I put red on it. And then I realized, that's not red. It's supposed to be green. And red and green make brown. You know this. But the wonderful thing about watercolors is they are forgiving. So if you put clean water down and then you blot it up with a dry cloth, you can pull up the majority of the pigment and totally save it. Why am I showing you this? I'm showing you this because everybody makes mistakes. A lot of times when we watch people do videos, we only see the most perfect recording, like we don't see the first time they recorded it, or we see just the parts that they haven't cut out. So I'm showing you this because I make mistakes, you make mistakes. The most perfect elite of crafters make mistakes, and they're fixable. So if you put down red where you actually want green, don't freak out, don't run and cry and scream in the corner. You can fix it. So here I've pretty much got up as much of it as I think I'm going to get up, and then you can't play with it anymore until it dries because it is still damp. So since I wasn't careful about my lines or anything, I was just worried about saving the piece. I'm going to let that dry and then go from there. So right from here, pretty much we move on to the completed piece. I'm pretty happy with the way everything came out, and I used a mask. Cheap chicken. It's just I've told you this before, cheapskate. I have cut a mask from copy paper, and I just use repositionable adhesive, and I know the little blooming parts are sticking out, but I'm not going to worry about that because when I do my, before I heat set my embossing, I'm going to brush it off. I'm using the envelope background from Hero Arts. Darnell in her third card. In her third card, she used some beautiful white and white embossing. She used script. I'm just going to use this envelope pattern to add some texture. So there you can see it. It's some fun little white on white texture in the background. White on white embossing is always beautiful, if you ask me, but I like a clean look. So I'm assuming you also like a clean look, otherwise you wouldn't be here visiting with me. If you don't like a clean look, then you just do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. I'm going to use this hand-lettered hello from W+9. In Darnell's second card, she cut her sentiment right through her embossing, which was beautiful, but I didn't want to cut that much out of my piece, so I'm going to try to mimic it with the script hello, and like the script that she used in her third card, that love sentiment. So I'm going to use my Misty to line it up because my paper is slightly warped, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have to stamp it a second time. I did end up stamping it a second time. I cut that part out because, you want to watch me line up the Misty 2 times. You probably don't. I assumed that you did not. So you're welcome for foreseeing what your needs were. So the hello is just going to go down in Versamark, and then I'm going to white heat emboss it. It's I cannot stop using this hello set from W+9. I want to put it on everything because it has so many little teeny tiny sentiments that are just they're perfect for everything. They're perfect for everything. So here, yeah, I'm bumping into my camera anchor. I apologize. I had to scoot it over because I'm just rocking and rolling this thing all over the place. We're shaking it off like Taylor Swift. It's not, wasn't on purpose. I didn't realize my door was on it. I apologize. So we're going to stamp that, and then I'm going to heat set it again in white. And like I said, I did stamp it twice, so I did this 2 times. You can stamp over your embossing, again, to get a better impression. Lots of people do tons of techniques where they get that molten metallic look by just layering embossing powder. So you're not going to mess it up if you do it 2 times. If you get it down correctly, hence the Misty. So, how about I say so one more time? How many times do you think I could say so? Somebody start counting how many times I say so, because it's frightening. So we're just going to heat set this, and then here, I left this part in. Oh no, we're going to do the shadow first. I didn't feel like the hello stood out as much as I wanted it to, so I went back in with a journaling pen and just added a drop shadow. I love shadows on 1-layer panels. I just do. I think that they help to make them pop. And Darnell's second card was black. It was pretty much all black, and I didn't use a whole lot of black, so I wanted to add some of that back in too. My drop shadow is almost always to the bottom left because my light source is almost always in the top right. This is just, I had mentioned this before, but I think I played music over it because, you know, I'm a hot mess and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But when I was in art class in high school, my teacher always, that was our light source, was in the top right. So I pretty much cannot do a shadow that's not in where my light source is in the top right. Funny the things that stick with you, isn't it? So yeah, I'm just doing, if it was coming from the top right, I'm adding my shadow in that way. And this is just, I feel like, a good way to help sentiment stand out from a background. I've also done this with white, like if I'm doing a very busy background and my sentiment isn't standing out, if I use a black sentiment. This is another little cheap trick. You can see the E there was pretty pitted. So I'm just using my white gel pen to fill that in. It's a good tool to have, the white gel pen, not just to add details, but to fix your boo-boos for white embossing. So you'll have to forgive my sniffling. I have not developed a bad coke habit, I promise. It's allergy season here in Ohio, and I'm just being slaughtered just all the time with the ragweed. The ragweed and me aren't friends. So this part now, I wanted to stamp "Hello, Beautiful." That's what I wanted to stamp. And because that's exactly what I said when I saw Darnell's first card with that beautiful watercolor daisy, I was like, oh my god, hello, beautiful. And so I wanted to stick with that sentiment. And it's just not cooperating. This stamp will not stop sticking to my finger. Every single time I go to pick it up, look, watch. Oh, it follows me. Oh my god. So, after a few more attempts here, like I don't know what happened between the Misty and the stamp. Maybe they were at a party together one time and the Misty left with the Beautiful's boyfriend. I don't know. But I go to close the lid, and because the paper's warped, it flips. And then I've decided, meh, it's over. I'm done with it. Yep, moving on. I'm going to just go ahead and hand stamp it, because that's going to work better for me. So I use the, I don't show you the lid because I'm a genius and, you know, I'm not used to filming these yet, so I'm just doing what I'm doing. But I'm using Pure Color Black by W+9. It's one of my favorite ones for sentiments. Just a really crisp black ink. And I'm just going to stamp that down. And then that's pretty much going to be what the panel looks like. I did add a couple more sequins, but that's it. So thank you for hanging out, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.